So obviously Andor just ended and it's getting rave reviews, and there's been some great things lately. Skeleton Crew is really, really good. Again, Andor, great. There's been some good stuff that comes out of Star Wars. But most Star Wars fans would generally agree that the sequel trilogy of 7, 8, and 9 are not, shall we say, the best thing that has come out of Star Wars in the history of Star Wars. So, the question that has been posed, right, is is there a case to be made for Disney to wipe the slate clean, say 7, 8, and 9 are no longer canon, and let's start over on 7, 8, and 9? Or should they just accept that, look, we made these movies, they're not the best, but they're canon, it is what it is, and we're just going to make better stuff going forward? So that's the question on the table, is should Disney retcon the sequel trilogy and just erase it from our collective Star Wars canon? Jay, what's your immediate gut reaction?
Oh my gosh. What was this? Like tonight you're just like, let's see how many people we can make mad. Like, oh my gosh.
There we go.
So 7, 8, 9. We're specifically talking about Rey, right?
We're talking about the Rey trilogy. Yeah, we'll call it that. If they could, should they wipe those from the existence of Star Wars canon?
Oh God. Oh God. I'm going to say no.
Okay.
I'm going to say no.
So this is the argument that I've had with this particular viewer many times. No, they shouldn't. Okay. Now, can we say, look, we're not going to go back and rewatch A Rise of Skywalker a whole bunch of times? No, we're not. I haven't watched it in years because it's trash. Force Awakens was pretty good. Last Jedi was what had its very good parts, right? Wasn't exactly perfectly executed, and The Rise of Skywalker was trash. But trying to go back and retcon them is not the solution for Star Wars as a genre, as a franchise. It just gets too complicated for them, right? One, you basically have to wipe them from existence, and you don't want to do that, right? Two, you confuse the crap out of the general audience.
Yep.
Right? And I'm not talking about those of us deep in the fandom with our cool Star Wars hoodies, right? I'm talking about the general audience, right? I just don't think that there's a benefit for Disney to do so. I think the benefit would be to move forward. Go forward in time. No more prequels. No more middle of the empire shit. Let's that way.
Yep.
Right? Or, worst case scenario, do like that Old Republic thing they've been planning for a long time and go so far back in time that the current timeline doesn't matter.
That's actually what I want to see personally.
Absolutely. 100%. I will ask you this question because this has been posted a different way in the chat. Do you reboot we'll use Harry Potter as our example, right?
Oh God.
So we made the Harry Potter movies, right?
Yeah.
They exist. Warner Brothers has opted to start over, right? We're rebooting it completely. We're going to start it again. Book 1 as a TV show this time, but we're starting it again. It's a total 100% reboot, recast, everything. They are doing that right now. Time will tell us to whether it be successful. Do you think Disney should do the same thing with Star Wars?
I think Harry Potter is different. I think like to its core, it's very different. And I say that because one, you're going from a movie to now a TV series. You're not trying to like redo
The
movies.
movies.
You're not trying to like make them not canon. Um, Also, like the thing about like if you were just going to wipe away Ray's storyline, I think you might take away like a very powerful role model for little girls. I don't really know. I don't have children.
I
Just
do.
throwing it out there. But I could imagine like little girls are looking up to Ray and like, wow, she's so cool. And I don't want to take that away from anyone. Harry Potter, though, Harry Potter is different because they are, from my understanding, the TV series that they're making, they're trying to make it as accurate to the books as possible, which the movies,
Cut out a lot. They had to.
yeah, yeah, there is so much stuff going on.
Yeah. 100%.
So I feel like this is like two different arguments here. Because now you're going back and you're making something that's very true to the books. And with Star Wars, you don't really have, I don't know, you don't really have that.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, they do have a ton of books, but um, the
Not they weren't originally a series of books that you're adapting
right,
off of. This was an
yeah,
original series. Um, I'm gonna say if you were gonna do something like reboot Star Wars, you need like a 25-year gap, right? You would basically have to stop making Star Wars content for 25 years and then start over, right? I think that's the only way it would work, right? And it may not even work then, right?
yeah,
I'm saying I don't think you can redo Star Wars without a significant gap between we have ended this, we have started it over, right? Again, because you're going to confuse the crap out of the general audience, right? I also don't think that you can recapture the magic of the original trilogy, 4, 5, and 6, right? Those things were about as good as you can get, right? I don't know how you, and this is actually the uphill battle that I think the Harry Potter series has. And I'll explain. When they casted the Harry Potter movies, the original ones, right? They struck gold with Harry, Ron, and Hermione.
yeah,
Okay? Dan Radcliffe, Rupert Grint, Emma Watson, that crew had a chemistry and a style and a way that they worked together in those films that is going to be exceedingly difficult for Warner Brothers to recreate in the television show. And I think if anything's going to kill that TV show, it's going to be that. It's going to be they just can't. You caught lightning in a bottle with Dan Radcliffe, Emma Watson, and Rupert Grint, and you just can't do it again. And I think the same concept can be said of Star Wars. You got lightning in a bottle with Mark Hamill, Carrie Fisher, Harrison Ford. And the way that they played those characters through those 3 movies, that I don't think you'll get again. I just don't know how you do it. What do you think?
I think it's possible, but like you're going to have to do a lot of work, like a lot of work. And I think I remember kind of a documentary about Harry Potter. Um, and I believe Daniel Radcliffe was the last person to get cast. Because they were
Might
just
have been.
going through everyone and they were like, nope, 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 nope. I think, and I could be really wrong here, someone fact check me, but like, I think they already had Ron and Hermione and they had like, they introduced them to each other and they're like, okay, like they seem to kind of get along. Um, and they were just like going through auditions for Daniel Radcliffe, looking for the perfect person. I think you can do it, but like you, so here's the issue: making movies, making TV shows is a business. So you're going to have a project timeline. You're going to have a budget. Um, and I really think you need to take a step back from all of that and be like, we are going to spend as long as it takes to find these 3 children. That's going to be that like special spark for this like new generation. And I'm like a little worried that no studio, no director is going to have the patience to do that, if that makes sense.
We're going to find out.
We will find out. Yeah.
Now, on
Yeah.
the television side of it, and we're getting a little off topic of the original topic, but we'll kind of go with this. HBO is known for its television. HBO does not screw up television. HBO knows how to make good quality television shows. So if there's any network, cable or otherwise, or service, that has the best shot at doing the Harry Potter casting and has the patience and ability and institutional knowledge from a production level to do this, it is absolutely Warner Brothers and HBO. Right? This is just what they do. Hello, Last of Us. Hello, Game of Thrones. Hello, Sopranos. Hello, I mean, I can go on and on and on and on and on and on. Hello, Newsroom. You know, I mean, this is what HBO does. Separate, actually, we'll hit that in the quick hits here in a minute because they did something this week that was really silly.
Okay.
You know, here's where I would go with Star Wars if I was going to do it. Right? I'm Kathleen Kennedy, right? Or I take over for Kathleen Kennedy tomorrow. Somebody did this where they took that Obi-Wan show, right? And they cut it into a movie. It was about 2.5 hours. But they literally were like, if I take this and cut it into a film. And it was good. It was on YouTube for a minute before it got DMCA'd. But everybody who saw it was like, this is really good. I think there's a good 2.5 hour movie in that 6-hour TV show. I think in a lot of the stuff in the prequel trilogy, I went and took my daughter to see episode 3 the other week. It's not good. It's got good moments, but it's not good.
We talked about this at the Mariners game.
Yeah.
And I brought up, so I also saw it in theaters a couple of weeks ago as well. And I was like, you know what? This is the first time where I actually
I remember you saying this. Yep.
Like the acting is not that great. I think like as a kid, I was so caught up in like the lightsaber battles and everything like that. And then like I held on to that for so long. But then like going back as an adult, you kind of look at it and you're like, ooh, there's really great moments. But in episode 3, I was like, overall, like the acting's not that great.
I think that in the prequel trilogy, there's like a Fellowship of the Rings extended edition 4-hour version. Right? That combines elements of episodes 1, 2, and 3. That is awesome. Right? And maybe if I'm the head of Lucasfilm, I make a definitive cut of all these different projects to cut out all the crap. Right? Maybe that's the solution. I don't know. I really don't. But no, I stand by fully retconning and rebooting Star Wars is not a good idea. It's just not.
It doesn't make sense. Also, if you're comparing Star Wars to Harry Potter, the creator of Star Wars, he did have that scandal. It's a very small, tiny scandal, but nothing as big as Harry Potter creator scandal.
No.
And the scandal I'm talking about for Star Wars is just Jar Jar Binks. So.
Darth Jar Jar.
Darth Jar Jar, yeah.
We need to get in there and get us some Darth Jar Jar. Yeah. So that's our thoughts on that. Tell us what you think, right? Down in the comments below.